Now, I've been watching the neighborhood lately, and I've noticed some folks are acting a little specific. I'm not saying it's a medical condition, but if you find yourself doing these things, well, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever walked into a room, saw a man wearing a MAGA hat, and immediately checked your pulse because you thought you were having a literal panic attack, you might be a Democrat. If you think a Republican is a dangerous, prehistoric creature that should only be studied behind thick glass in a museum, you might be a Democrat. If you spent 4 years saying Donald Trump was gonna start World War III, but now you're upset he's actually talking to people to stop it, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever used the word nuance to explain why your candidate did the exact same thing you called a Republican a dictator for doing last week, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever boycotted a brand of bottled water because the CEO once shook hands with a Republican at a charity event, you might be a Democrat. If you think the solution to a MAGA neighbor is to move to a city where the taxes are higher than your mortgage just so you can be around like-minded individuals, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever tried to cancel your own grandfather because he told a joke that was funny in 1974 but is now considered a microaggression, you might be a Democrat! If you believe that every Republican is a billionaire in disguise while you're currently paying $100 and $200 a month to live in a walk-up apartment with 3 roommates and a cat named Justice, honey, you might be a Democrat. If you think a border wall is a monument to hate, but you won't enter a grocery store unless there's a security guard checking receipts at the exit, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever screamed democracy is dying because your favorite candidate lost an election where people actually voted, you might be a Democrat. If you think equity means everyone should have the same amount of money as long as it's not your money, you might be a Democrat. If you see a Made in America label and your first instinct is to wonder if the person who made it has problematic views on tax policy, you might be a Democrat. If you've ever written a 500-word Facebook post about the danger of the MAGA movement while your artisanal sourdough was burning in the oven, you might be a Democrat. If you think a guy in a suit and a red tie is the end of civilization, but a guy in a suit and a blue tie is the savior of the working class, you might be a Democrat. Look, I'm just saying, if the shoe fits, and it's a sustainably sourced vegan leather shoe, wear it. We're all just trying to survive the 24-hour news cycle. God bless.